Okay, so coming back again, round two or round three. Um, Thank you once again, Sharon, for this recommendation. Um, so I was reading again on Dr. Phil, kind of trying to read the body language, and so we're jumping back into that again, trying to understand a little bit more. We still have the grandmother's interview coming up. It's going to be a short interview, but just trying to understand a little bit more about how we can isolate the behavior here. So here we go.
This is the hardest time of me and Candace's life. You lose your daughter, and then you get blamed for it, and then
And I guess I was wondering here,
you lose your daughter.
that looks like mud, I guess. At first it looked like some sort of bruises or something like that, but I guess it's mud or some sort of smear or something, maybe chocolate.
And then you get blamed for it, and then everybody turns on you. We have threatening.
And that previous trouble stings, that's what I'm saying. That's probably why the CPS came out, because of
Phone calls.
because you guys are doing a good job at looking clean, but based on what we're seeing, we could tell that there's some friction somewhere.
Daily. They threatened my job. They done everything they could to destroy our family.
I also wonder what the age gap is between him and her, he and Candace, because sometimes I've seen some of those older guys that get with those younger moms and take care of the kids. The family and support system of the mom that's younger, they come at her fiercely. And they say, oh, he's blah, 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 whatever angry reason that they have against it. He's too old, so on and so forth. So, and then they just essentially have to do what they're doing, stay away from everyone, get away from everyone in and of itself to, I'm living my life, he's living his. So we can already see Candace is probably strong-willed as well, which is probably where Summer got it from.
Stranger come up at 2 a.m. Didn't know what he was doing there. I fired a shot over his head, and they ran down the driveway. I expected bullet holes to be coming through our house, so we had a lot of sleepless nights. It was taking a toll on me. At one point, I broke down. I lost it. I started drinking really bad, and I made some poor decisions. Once Summer was taken, CPS had to open a case for our good and for the boys' protection. So CPS thought our house was...
As I'm saying, the house looks a little bit, not up to code. Doesn't look up to code. I'll just tell you that. Doesn't look up to code. Looks like there was an add-on of some sort. And so that's what CPS would be coming and looking at, I would think.
Was dangerous. I was being dangerous. The CPS took our boys, which I was glad at the time. I was glad that they were not here because I was scared to death for their lives.
What the heck is that? It makes you wonder if they have legitimate running water and electricity. Because from this angle, what we're seeing is where the camper should be to your right. And then the basement should be straight ahead right here where Summer was taken.
I agreed with them. My wife didn't, and she's mad at me, but it was just too dangerous. Now it's 3 months later, and there's no sign of our daughter.
You want the boys back,
Yes, sir.
and you didn't want them to go to begin with.
Right.
You want them back now.
Yes.
Do you think it's safe for them to come back?
It's a lot safer than it was.
Because she knows it's not safe. She knows it. And so that's what we were saying in previous interviews. He's kind of the voice of reason, is like, I don't think it's safe for the boys. And she's mad. Well, why would you say that? But even in the previous interviews, he was speaking of Summer in past tense, and she was mad. She was appalled that he would even speak like that. And he's like, yo, I'm just trying to be realistic. Yo, those are real things. But she was like mad, like, why would you say that? Or reveal something like that, or even lead people to believe that, she's already unalive, they're passed away, when we don't know that, so the dynamic of her getting mad at him for seemingly no reason, for things that would be, logical for most people, is interesting to me. And like, she's really mad which leads me to believe that this dynamic is him on his heels and she's coming forward, sort of telling him and guiding him what to do because of her attitude.
You haven't had any acts of violence against you at the house?
No.
Okay. So there's no reason in terms of acts of violence that have been perpetrated against you that would cause them to conclude that the boys would be in harm's way?
No, we just had one issue with a woman sent to our house, and we don't know. We've heard she was sent from some YouTubers. We don't know. Well, we called the police right away, and they took her off the property.
If they did a home study right now, they came in and studied the home, would it meet the standard that they were looking for? Would the house be clean and uncluttered and groceries and safe?
Up to code. And look at her face. Like she's man, it's like her face is sort of collapsing into, well, of course not. You know what I mean? Like she knows that, but it's like you deny the truth in your facial expressions. Like you almost purse your lips and you know it's the truth, you know? And so, you know, why are you not speaking on these things? Why are you not elaborating and saying, well, we look, we don't have the most money. We're on a single family income. And, you know, I've agreed to stay home to take care of stuff. Why are you not explaining to us anything? You're just sitting there looking and crying.
As far as guns and everything that Child Protective Services investigates, would it be proper for the boys?
Well, there's some things they want us to work on. We need to put in a couple walls and some other things. So there's still a few things we need to work on.
But you could get that done in short order.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what I think. And I, like I say, I've done this a lot, and I trained as a forensic psychologist, looking psychology and the law and the forensics involved with human behavior and conduct. And based on the timeline and the factors here, it's very clear to me, based on the facts, that neither one of you did anything to hurt your daughter.
No, sir.
That's very clear to me.
Awesome.
So are you understand that I understand that?
Yes.
And you understand that initially the first thing they do is look at if it's the husband that.
I don't know why she's ready to cry so much. Like, why is there some pent up nervousness, but also I guess this feeling of being put on trial. Number 3, it's not clear. Not by a long shot. It's not clear at all that they haven't done anything. If we were to go by that theory, if we were to assume that they didn't do anything, then there would be a suggestion of neglect then, which could be the case. Maybe she ran outside, or this could be the case that, you know, she was inside and you know, the mom is like, well, I was only over here for 5 minutes. Maybe the boys weren't watching like they said they should have. You went over to the mom's for 5 minutes to fix the leg brace. But when you got back in, maybe someone went down there and tried to grab something or pick up something and something fell on her. And so from there, you tell me that, you know, somebody had to take her out through the woods, apparently out the back. Somebody at 2:00 in the morning, you seem to suggest, came out and you shot at him. And maybe that same person came back later on. They were scoping the place and they came back later on. But that person would have had to, the timeline is too tight. It's just too tight. And there would have been too much noise involved. This seems very quiet. And maybe it was something that Summer did by accident to herself. Maybe something fell on her or something like that. And, you know, you couldn't take her to the hospital because maybe it was too late. So it based on the timeline, when was the call immediately after it happened? We don't know when the call was after it happened, because the call only comes in when you want the call to come in. You see what I'm saying? The body is gone. You see what I'm saying? The body is gone. So who knows what you did before you made this call? You see what I'm saying? Like, that body could have been gone the day before. It's not at all clear.
goes missing or gets killed, they look at the spouse. If it's the wife that goes missing, they look at the husband. Because
Okay, so her face is a little bit more, she's a little bit more lightened up. Both of them.
Oftentimes that's who it is. Again, because of access, opportunity, motive, means, all of that, they look at the spouse. And so when something happens to a child, parents are the ones in control of the child, so that's the first place they look.
Yes, sir.
And when I first studied this case, the first thing I looked at was, okay, what would be the opportunity for the father and the mother? And I looked at that, not knowing y'all at all, just to look at it. And given the timeline,
he was looking that way, and then he looked up at Dr. Phil, looking that way. So he's like kind of listening, and
there's no way that either one of y'all did harm to your daughter, and I hate to even say these words, killed your daughter and hid her body in the woods somewhere. I just don't believe that's even possible. So understand, I'm not sitting here wondering if you killed your daughter. Awesome. I'm not sitting here wondering if you killed your daughter.
Thank you.
I don't think that for a second.
Unpurses the lips and takes a gulp. Okay, cool. You don't suspect me. There is a hint of bitterness somewhere in her, because her face disposition in general is angry. It's like a lot of fighting. She has a reason to scrunch her face up a lot.
And I'm saying that publicly here. So if people are wondering what I think, that's what I think. I don't think you did that. I don't think you did that. And I assume I'm correct about that.
Yes.
You didn't do anything to hurt your daughter?
No, sir.
You didn't do anything to hurt your daughter? You didn't do anything to hurt your daughter?
No, sir.
You didn't do anything to hurt your daughter? You didn't do anything to hurt your daughter?
No, sir.
You didn't do anything to hurt your daughter? Do you have a story or a question here? So if people are wondering what I think, that's what I think. I don't think you did that. I don't think you did that. And I assume I'm correct about that.
Why is she not saying anything? Like, she doesn't.
You didn't do anything to hurt your daughter?
No, sir.
You didn't?
Like, she's here with it. They're both here with. Well, he explains a lot more. He's a talking point. She doesn't explain anything, like, at all. Like, Dr. Phil is asking questions and she's like, no. And restricts back and like holds back. Did you? And he had to, did you? No. You're correct. No, I didn't do it. Can you give me more? Can you tell me a little bit more? As in saying, that's why I would expect her to say, and that's why I don't understand when people say this and that and the third. And I appreciate you saying that, because it's been really hard for us. And because clearly she's carrying a weight as she's crying, and he hasn't even said anything to motivate her to cry. So clearly she's carrying a weight. So would be the case that here is where you say, no, I don't know why people say that. We absolutely would not do that. I loved her to death, and so on and so forth. And we're missing her every single day. We're praying for her return. We're praying that something comes. You know what I mean? But I'm not getting that. Like, she's not coming out of the pocket. She's just right here. I'll tell you what you ask me, but anything else, I'm not elaborating on. So that's just interesting, Still got more that I want to look at. Like I said, I got the grandmother coming up. Got the isolation of the dad coming up. And so just want to get a little bit more context around this. So several scenarios. Could be that Summer went down there and hurt herself, and it was an unfortunate event. Could have been that the mother had an accident. Could have been that the boys had an accident. Because the timeline doesn't allow for Summer to get out of the house without somebody carrying her outside of the house, and for whatever reason. So, in which they could have taken her out the back somewhere and then called the cops. So, but that's the video. Until next time, take it easy.